yo makura menio.
Ma. And maybe I'm a pocket fat when it be about a father. Came you to continue why I'm wedding. Become a Namaka day for trying to be bigger. I'm a team. Come on, man, about here to make a team. Why I'm a wedding to my meal. None of my capability on my. May put to a canoe boy. para tie para se tie ka tie me ka ba wan ko na zana ka me ko ko ra ma pa mra ma chom Nana we is also planet to go me. Seri ba ko na me lai. Se ba krifa. Seri ba ko ya me. paramo. Kayuba mama chimi.
King Dr. Robert is my beautiful. A bower me, a bat me. Fedama Crefare came a bed. Annie, a member, the Mamlada waitable, evangelist, honorable, Boro or Putu. Okay, remember by Zembi from Agabaya. Oh, Bijamo Isabamo, Ogodobrimo waitable. Enduro could develop high me. Okay, remember is Zembi from Market, Barrable robotic will buy up and a moment buy up me. Obara Zembi minimum buy. King Dr. Robert Bisimo is a matter of a moment to have a minute in the world. Careful was said in a mobile. A Somekala Okusu Numutu Monotu Chemist Salmon to your call about the use. Oman and about about a year or two. Obanum but to a ragam studio. I'm 200. Muneg will mobile. King Dr. Robert Bismarck is a man in minimum. Back up, John Bomo. Obame, Ubijo, Kurablo Gibalade. King Dr. Robert Bismarck, Tiva Sarabagasi, why today? I know about Bijafaria, but as I know, I let the sort me again. Pafaria Mumuti. O get the Lilani. Chief Tunde Snoot, Boboti Lilani. Chief Kenneth Oboko, Omono Boboti Lilani. Chief Francis Oyimi. Okoboti Lade, Favor Ezokumo Okobochi Ladeyo Right Honorable Dennis Elebo Alari Babom Neme Stanley Kanawe Bautu Bello Make a Masabochi Lade and I can't what an open again about mountains in the way. Oh, more. Oh, Rabbi, why below Galada, your brother put it on me, your Yandy, a Kanya. Marry my Bible, no more. More. Now, where do you? My Bible, no more. John Bombe. Don't say a Kaga Kamo. All about you. But I cannot talk about we call me your Yendi, your Kanya. My Bible, no more. Coco. My Bible, no more. Barbara. Moi. Esan Pinabio, Gayo, Timisan Bacala, why cause a bacon and Paladamo? Buruku, the obvious of a Rabbi kid and my human. As I've been up before, I got to be signed back on a bacon. Why cause a bacon and a Paladamo? She between the obvious of a Rabbi kid and my human. Of my Rabbi kid and by you, man. Fall forward. What is that? But I buy again, Masua. Busy Masari, but I buy again, Makamai, Papa. Making a money. As if you cannot go. Mukamaya, I get a magatur. And I will take you later. A camel may use it. It's like a minute of a camel may carry me. For a meal, it's on to buy me. It's in the pack of a bucket of me. Put by me. Robot me for me. For robot, I give me more by. It's in the Papa Bogger community. The barrier, young Basia Munaba, a minute in your Papa Pie, Browdery, and none of a cremia pie. I remember. Oh, Rabbi, the Daddy Lada, Yala Palaba, I am a Bible, no more. Bamo is a woman as a common number big papa. Robert the Trinity was set up. Say, no more go out to be seen and no one was a common number big papa. Oh, Robbie. Oi, oi, you call me a mo. Rabbi. Bibisima kana tumebili say mosindo lene bate ya fatanya te yanga so.
Ade mbrato.
Bibisima say buon kana tumebili say mosindo lene omate ya fatanya te yanga so. Confirm that no matter ya fatanya te yanga so. Boro you bare my Bible no abe. Oh. If you turn that baba to the ladder ya rabi. And my papa not me guy ni busy mo where pabo. Go back to the land, I Rabbi. And my papa not in the guy, Rabbi, or a babo.
Okay, so are you there?
But I put the back to the land, I am busy mo. And my papa not in the guy, Rabbi, or a babo. Papa not in a guy, like busy more what a pavo. Ubudaga Coronaba, is in my day, my son, and your day, my melody, and something. Or a good deal, my Bible, mother. And when I go bought to them of the Coronaba, Romano was what about the one. John Bomo. Okay. I hear you, Barbara. He's on to my parent. Kalawati, but up about me. Because the thing but up about me. Or I can make but up about me. It's a look out where I need your temple for a minute. About when you temple for a minute. Is that vitamin or scissors? I know you woman and say I net and a big below. Is that big vitamin or scissors? I not them and I say I not and a big below.
Hello. Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Check 1, 2.
Check 3, 4. Okay. Thank you. Because I have some things in it. Yes.
There's a guy, everybody's going to shout Frank at Joe Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, he used to be the former military administrator for Abia State.
Okay. Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he's just one of our elder statesmen. The former leader was Chief Odejo.
Okay.
Oh, honorable. Tamo to.
Yes, sir.
Babura ye.
Welcome there first.
We come. Mama mana mo. Tamo to baby na ba ka pa mo. Anak mama balasi ye. She promised la wuru. My only young brother.
She's getting the name.
You always care for me. Economia tia to bomb. Economia tia. So my to bomb. She promised Lauro. Chairman, Board of Trustees. Approved. Mama balance you. Omen you na mama balance ya. Come to people people balance me. Chief SK. Okodo down man. I can't forget you. Mama balance you. Come to walk me. One of the Bibles I want to see me. But I will lie. Ye brass work on the tone there we got by I name him now I chief build up mama so I any happen Victor Okumono number e manda pulo me ik mama so la to wait in me
Okay.
up mama para ka na ya brass you keep it on
Chief Ahmed, I don't have it. So
if you able la me but the
of the Oba of Lagos. You have to add it. Would you like me to?
you na baga ni me
Okay, someone is up there with his wife.
e wanna see me I rob to me proceed like people because I balance ke mama mo puli one yo like me la like governor ni na ba balance le to governor mama one yo like me balance ye e mo la me ne fi to governor ko ba e barista it's not easy anegere le bo lo mama easy ya mo to ba na sala easy ya mo ba ko mo se abomo easy ya and easy me easy ya bra mama na ti akiri me ba easy ya bene o ko be so bra wale yiri ba mi ye me no ba yo balance ya asisi ye
Okay.
anege ti mo wi
Mr. Arrow.
etubi
Mr.
menege pare
A-R-O-H.
o ma no ba mo ko mo to ba me
R-O-H.
abomo balance mi
Chairman A-R-O-H.
ko mo to be balance ya we
Representative of the chairman.
abo balance na ba Amai mo to balance ara ko mo balance ye anak mo ko balance ka balance ye ke mo balance ara
Then Chief.
Ano yung memra eh?
P-O-S-I-P-R.
I chief
Pastor, sorry. Pastor.
Victor okubo na bo but me na ya mo balance ye
Chairman INC Lagos.
anege McDonald igbaduwe pe na ye mo balance yo
Congress Lagos.
honorable Lucky your boy lo mi yi kiri me mamre ma ro ile o
907 for now.
epiberi dui umbana okemi ase ai Emmanuel kosikeme doro umbana abangini me marme kumutamba abomanyi me me ma bota balance atume dolo bo mini joy abomo dolo bo balance me ara e me na ke mama mo pi delo le yo se bi ti mo ma zima aboma bebe kami aja bapak arok bafebe ne ribo se na sin papa no be your fault
Boca balance ai,
mommy no be your fault
boca balance ai,
brother no be your fault
boca balance ai,
sister Sister, no be your fault.
Me a pọ̀ka balance àpárá gbogbo di.
Be careful.
But that's what he said.
Yeah, man.
Very.
Honorable.
Joe boy. The drummer, I see you. I'm a sabra. No be your fault.
Pọ̀ka balance
Mommy, no be your fault.
pọ̀ka balance
Brother, no be your fault.
pọ̀ka balance
Sister, no be your fault.
Me a pọ̀ka balance àpárá gbogbo di.
Hey.
Patrick Delacour. Yes. Patrick Delacour. Yes, just came in this one behind you. That's him, sitting down with the face cam. No. If we be like change that one. It's my own.
Mama, you pay. Come let me like me. And my name's on me say, "Come on, go with
Jimmy.
Okay, where's my own list? Okay, so that
Mama,
you call me for some.
Just talk some of them.
Okay.
in a zone, me mo go wait to me.
Down and go up, you see, we should go up together.
I'm not busy you doing the dog to me.
But this one I just
I'm not busy you doing the to me.
recognize it.
Taking me up on my pie.
Hello.
Papa no be of
You two haven't changed. Don't tell me I've not changed, but you two haven't changed.
Hello, Chief.
So you're organizing us now.
Aunt is always talking about you, Mrs. Awani.
Oh, yes.
Stella
My-
shows. I even met you with her.
When we started broadcasting, one time she was on the corridor and said, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm going to be 19." She said, "You're a baby. I can't forget it." Nice to meet you.
Same, yes, okay. I used to meet her.
It's going to be very informal. But once then we just go to opening prayers. But if you want, now let me do it. What do you think?
I don't know.
Because I
We are apologizing.
Okay. Hello. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. If you look around you, you'll see that probably your next door neighbor is either a professor or a former minister or a former governor. That is the lot of all those who know the author whose book we have gathered to launch. We want to welcome all of you and apologize that we're running slightly late, but that's because some of our notable personalities are still to come. My name is Patrick Oke. I'm glad to be your talker today. It's my job. I've been talking for, 35 years now, and we're about to retire. I'm glad that I can be of service to you and to help you move along this launching in a very nice and exciting and appreciative manner. We want to thank you for honoring this invitation, and we want to say that if you use the occasion very well, that people you meet here today will probably be significant in your life from now on. Because here is the cream, they say. The intellectuals, those who say we may dare to say, have the ideas that can move this nation forward. And the book we're going to launch today, and I was just going through it, and I said to myself, if this book was written in 1984, the author would be in jail because he would be under decree number 4. And that's why they call it frankly what? See. So we'd like to welcome you and crave your indulgence that we're just settling a few things, and immediately we do that, the ceremony should kick off. Meanwhile, so many distinguished people have come among us already. I would like to appreciate them before we start formally. We have Professor Anya. Anya, Professor, please, can we put our hands together for him? Prof, nice to see you. Professor Ladakwa Folabi. Professor Lada, thank you, sir. Nice to see you. We hear about all of you so often. We have His Excellency Air Vice Marshal Frank Ajobina, the former military governor of Abia State. Thank you, sir. We have Chief Ahmed Akashoro, who is representing the Oba of Lagos, assisted by Chief Suenu Omogbolahon. Your Excellency, Your Royal Highnesses, thank you. We have Mr. Aro, representing the chairman of IPMS. Mr. Aro, please. We have Pastor Posibi, the chairman of Ijaw National Congress. Pastor, where are you? Thank you for coming. And my co-MC, who I'll introduce to you later, will please take on the other guests who are already here.
A beautiful morning. Royal fathers present, distinguished guests present. My name is Joke Fekumo. I will be co-comparing today's event with Mr. Patrick Oke. Right now, I would like to recognize in our midst His Highness Ephraim Faloyi, O.N. Thomas Ebiegberi Spiff II. Can we please give him an applause? All right. We also like to recognize Mrs. Nike Akonde. Can we please keep the applause rolling? All right. We would like to recognize Chief Sam Amoka. Amoka, okay. We also like to recognize Mrs. Maiden Ibru. Can we please keep the applause rolling, please? Please, let's honor them. You're welcome, ma'am. We'd like to recognize Chief Patrick Delacole. Chief Patrick Delacole. You're welcome, sir. We recognize and welcome into our midst Mr. Guy Otobo and his lovely wife. Can we please keep the applause rolling for Mr. Guy Otobo? We honor you. We recognize Mr. Jimmy Agbaje. Mr. Jimmy Agbaje. Can we please keep the applause rolling for Mr. Jimmy? Where is he? Okay. We honor you, sir. Okay, so I'd like to hand the microphone over to Mr. Patrick.
All right. So, as I said, if you bump onto somebody in this hall, it's likely to be a former personality, a former think tank person, like you just heard, the Jimmy Agbaje, all of us know, and the governor that never was. But delay is not denial. Thank you, sir, for coming among us. And while saying that, we also have the mother of the former governor, Mrs. Fashola. Thank you, sir. Please say hello to him. We're still enjoying his roads and bridges. Thank you so much. We have His Excellency, what is it? Oh. His Excellency Ajumogobia, who everybody knows played a very prominent role in Nigeria's foreign relations for a long time. Thank you, sir, for coming. Where is he? Okay. Oh, sir. Nice. Mr. Ken Robinson, spokesperson PANDEF. Mr. Ken Robinson, spokesperson PANDEF. Thank you, sir. Nice to see you. we have Chief Everest Ozunwike representing Ohaneze Ndigbo. Yes, Chief Everest. Okay, sir. Chief Omar Odo, Yadafe, Chief Tadafe. Okay, that's for my place. So this short form for Tadafe. Tadafe. Please, where is Chief Omar Odo Tadafe, please? Can we give him a round of applause? No. Okay, Tadafe. Miguel. Wagwale. Tadafe. Nice to meet you, sir. Okay. We'd like to welcome also General Paul Tong, Chairman, Board of Trustees of Ijaw Professionals. General Paul Tong, thank you, sir. All right. Is that yours?
Yes, Mrs.
Adejoke, right?
Yes, Babatunde, yes, Deputy CEO, yes, and then Professor Moro.
We'd like to welcome Professor Moro. Thank you for coming, Prof. Professor Moro, please. Thank you. And Mrs. Adejoke Lai Babatunde, legal juggernaut, they say, Deputy CEO, Land Breed Publications. Okay. Okay. All right. Which one? Where's this one? And of course, you cannot miss her, Chief Dr. Nika Konde, former Minister of Industry, two-time Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay. Mrs. Daba Bob Manuel. Mrs. Daba Bob Manuel. Thank you, ma'am. Please, can we have a round of applause for her? Thank you. We're exhausted for now.
Just do the association.
Excuse me. Sorry. Okay, yeah, mind doing this. Okay, I tried to stage it, but I just, we may need like 2 seats here.
Okay, for you.
MCs,
Okay, okay, sure, sir. Sure, sir. Just that, sir.
Yes, that's all. This quota is for you. Anything you need. Okay, that's when we start. Thank you. How did you know? Thank you. Okay.
Okubula na ba. Ikbatumi na ya mama balasi ye. Anege McDonald. Igbaduwe. Ikbe na ye mama balasi yo. Honorable Lucky your boy. Lomiyewi. Kirime mamre ma wa yo. Epiberi dili mbana. Okemi ase ai. Manuel. No, Bana. I'm going to be man. You want to have a man in a minute. My water balance out to me. Don't look over me. Mama don't like balance on me. I'm making my mama tea. Then we will get you some mama. Zima, mama, bebe. Come here, you must have a fair and it was an assassin.
All right, we'd like to recognize the presence of Mr. Paul Igbinoba, who is representing Mr. Goody Ibru. Can we please applaud Mr. Paul Igbinoba? Also, we'd like to recognize the representatives of the Izon Women Leadership Forum, Lagos chapter. You're welcome into our midst, Marv. Hey. Hey. We welcome you and we honor you. Also, we'd like to recognize the presence of the representatives of the Ijaw Ladies Association, Lagos chapter.
Joker, I'd love to take this list of recognitions from you, because you know you women want to take over the world. Do you understand? Remember when Winston Churchill's valet ran in one day with a daily newspaper and said to him, "Sir, do you know by the year 2000 women will be ruling the world?" And of course he expected consternation on the Prime Minister's face, but instead the Prime Minister looked at him very casually and said, Still? In other words, women have always ruled the world. Forget what the men do. Now they are just showing their fangs more broadly than before. So this list I'm going to mention, is just know that they are the ones behind everything. It's not us men who, while swashbuckling, we stay in front as if we are the ones doing it. As somebody said, how do you take a governor's wife for granted? A lot of the good things in the state comes from the wives, because as they are driving past the bridge, the wife sees it and says, darling, what is that? What's that railing? They didn't do it well, oh. And the next day, the governor calls the minister or the commissioner of works and says, look, go and look at that Eco bridge. It's not working well, So that is how they subtly push. But then again, they now want to, in fact, if you know that, I think about 15 nations of the world now have female presidents. Yes, female presidents. So maybe by 2027, one female will raise up her head in Nigeria and see how ambitious these women are. Okay. We'd like to acknowledge the presence among us of some distinguished people leaders, women who have shown their leadership capabilities among themselves and been able to galvanize and organize each other to achieve the aims which they now pursue. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Mommy Omolara Fashola, the matron of Dynamic Women International Association. Okay.
In the course of
okay. So the chairman is here. So with that. Right. Are you okay, guys? Okay. So we follow the program now, because after that. Who is the chairman, sir? Let me introduce you first. Hello. Okay, hello. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, We'd like to thank you once more for honoring the invitation to the launching of the book by our great patriot. The book has been launched in several places already, but to grace the West, the launching has been brought here because in the West, they say most of the brains in Nigeria are domiciled in the West. Whether that is true or not, I don't know, but experience has shown that it's largely true. It is largely true. So it is only proper that this intellectual look at Nigeria's history by one who played an intimate, significant part in it should be exposed here as well. This is my colleague, Joke
Fekumo.
Fekumo, you see, Joke is from the West, Fekumo is from the South. So we imported her home eventually. Nice to have you here. Please, he's out of here. What's his name? And she wants me to also recognize her husband, Ekwede Fetimo, doctor. Are you around somewhere? Okay, thank you very much for bringing her home. Thank you. Okay, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've spent some time already, and I know everybody has so many things to do. The organizers have said we should start everything, and we really can't start until, first of all, we should have the national anthem. Can we all rise, please, for the national anthem?
You may be seated. Thank you for that. Once again, my name is Joke Fekumo. I'm a legal practitioner and I'm a diction, public speaking and etiquette coach. I join Mr. Patrick Oke, my co-compere, to welcome all of us warmly to today's event. I say good morning, welcome. In Yoruba land, we say ekaro, ekabo. And I'm an Ijaw bride. Over there, we'll say esirido, do. Okay, it's going to be a beautiful event, no doubt, but it's a good thing for us to give honor to God. And please, can we please make welcome Honorable Kemela Okara for the opening prayer. Can we please make welcome Honorable Kemela Okara for the opening prayer.
Shall we rise once more as we pray? Our Father and our God, we are grateful to be gathered in your presence in honor of the book launch, the autobiography of our father, elder statesman, and Nigerian nationalist, Chief Dr. Senator Edwin Keabodo Clark. We're grateful that as we gather in your name, that your presence is here with us, and that today will be a day in which we not only celebrate this autobiography, but we celebrate the life of your son and all that you have achieved in his life, and yet more to achieve in his life. We give you all the glory, all honor, all praise, all adoration. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So before we continue, we'd like to acknowledge the presence among us of Derry Awoshika, former chairman, Access Bank. Mr. Awoshika, thank you. Okay. Now, we begin. Mrs. Awoshika, sorry. Sorry, ma'am. I did not intend to mix the sexes. That is for those in America, you know. Thank you very much. Now, we start in earnest. The person we're here to honor and whose thoughts we're about to share. I was thinking about him that I've heard about him almost all my life. Everywhere you go, Edwin Clark, Delta Edwin Clark, Lagos Edwin Clark, my parents Edwin Clark, Clark, right from when we were young. And I was thinking, how do you describe such a person or even begin to talk about him? Then I came across an article which expressed everything I wanted. And I just thought I would share with you. I don't know if you have come across it, but it just says everything that I want to say about the person. We all remember the old poem when we were growing up called The 6 Men of Hindustan, who were blind, who went to see an elephant so that each would know what an elephant is like. 6 blind men of Hindustan. Of course, they went to the elephant. One of them touched the tusk. And said, wow, because he couldn't see the rest, of course, of the elephant. And he said, the elephant is very like a spear. The other one touched the stomach of the elephant, of course, big and huge. And he rubbed it and said, the elephant is very like a wall. Another grabbed the tail and said the elephant is very like a rope, and so on and so forth. So each one of them, as they were going back, were arguing with each other. One said the elephant is like a tusk. The other one said, no, it's the wall. The other one said, no, it's like a rope. And they argued on and on and on, but no one actually had the full picture. The same thing with the person we are talking about today. Depending on what side of him you touched. If you touched the hat, you saw the Ijaw man. If you touched his shoes, then the Shakiri man. You touched his hands, then the Robo man. You touched his left, he's an Ijaw man. He's a united South, Deltan, pure and to the core. So it actually depends on what side of him you touched. Now, this article I'd like to share with you, epitomizes everything. It starts, we cannot describe Chief Edwin Kiagbodo Clark in one episode. Like the divided opinion of those who touch different parts of the elephant, many similarly describing him in very many ways. Their divergent views representing the many parts of him. In the Niger Delta, every ethnic group regards Clark as a leader, a fearless crusader, educationist, philanthropist, legal luminary, the conscience of the South, a politician with track records of service, and a national colossus whose sense of unity is anchored on true federalism. He is also viewed as an anti-corruption crusader who prefers justice to compromise, and that is why he abhors injustice against the minority of Nigerians. He was born on the 25th And he celebrated, I think, 95th birthday, the last 25th of May. 95th. 96th birthday on the 25th of May. Okay, now they tell us the chairman of the occasion is here, so I can't go through all of this article as I would have loved to, because it really captures everything about the person whose book we're going to review. But without wasting the time of our chairman who has arrived, it's my pleasure to call on Chief Philip Asiodu and Senator Anthony Adefuye, the chairman of the occasion, sir. Senator Anthony Adefuye. At the same time, we'd like to recognize the presence of Yemi Olakunleyin, representing the Dangote Group. Representing Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the Dangote Group. Thank you, sir. Not forgetting, he who makes a lot of waves wherever he goes, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, former Director General of NIMASA. Dr. Dakuku Peterside. Okay. So what did you want now? That's it. Oh, the opening chief professor. No, you call.
All right. For this event, you will agree with me that the planning committee have done a lot to bring together dignitaries, to bring together distinguished guests like this, to bring together legal juggernauts, distinguished scholars, and great men and women of honor. So, I'd like to invite to the platform Professor Hope Ehaga, the chairman of the Book Presentation Committee, Lagos, to give us the welcome address. Can we please make welcome Professor Hope Ehaga, a man who makes great things happen, a great man who has put this event together in Lagos State. We honor you. We recognize you. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Well, I wondered whether I was the one she was introducing. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The chairman of this occasion, Senator Anthony Adefuye, you're welcome, sir. Our guest of honor, Pade Banjo, is on his way here. Our royal father of the day, who is ably represented here, Oba Rilwanu Babatunde Akiolu, and all distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I can see persons from different groups, professions here, from politics to the industry. We welcome you. We're indeed honored as members of the local organizing committee to have you here today. It's been a long time. We started getting this ready, and we are delighted that you have responded to our invitation. Today we are presenting Senator Ike Clark's book, Brutally Frank, to the public in Lagos and the Southwest. It had been launched in Abuja, but today we are presenting it here, and then we do hope that we all would at least get a copy before we leave here today. So our target is to ensure that you buy a copy or you buy copies for different organizations to honor the political giant whom we are honoring today. Well, Papa isn't here today, but he's watching us. He's here with us in spirit. virtually, not in spirit in the other sense. Pa is well and alive. He's in Abuja and is watching online. At the appropriate time, perhaps, he will speak to us. But he shows his appreciation. We thank you for responding. We're also sorry that we started late, but we will make up for it. This book is an intervention in the politics of Nigeria. You need to read it. I am amazed by Papa's ability to recall detail from 70 years ago. He mentions names. My mind was blown by the very first chapter where he traces his genealogy. Third, fourth cousins, great-grandfather, all the many wives and the children, the ancestry, all the linkages in Izo, in Orobo, in Shekiri, everywhere. Fantastic memory. Please, let's give him a round of applause. In fact, for those who still sit with him, you just need to listen to him. I recall incidents of 51 years ago with the precise date, time, sometimes. Now, I do hope when I get to that age, I'll still be able to recall when I was born. Well, biographies are a way of recording both personal and national experiences, sometimes how they intersect, and we need them. He was involved right from when he became a commissioner in Midwest State under Brigadier Ogbemudia. He was a commissioner for education, letter finance, and then he became federal commissioner at the time for information. And the way he got involved in national affairs beyond that time, you know, becoming a spokesperson for the South-South, a spokesperson for the South, a man of candor. He says it as it is. Indeed, the book, Brutally Frank, is brutally frank about politics and governance in Nigeria. And if you want to get those details, I encourage you to buy this 668-page book. How was he able to put that together? We're told he's been working on this in the last 10 years. It's as if he knew 70 years ago that someday he was going to record his experiences. I look at letters that were written from the 1950s. They're all intact and it's made in public. So I want to welcome you, and I'm sure you have a nice time here. We'll move with some speed. Thank you very much. May I now invite the chairman of the occasion today, Senator Anthony Adefuyi. I'm sorry there was a mix-up earlier on. Please, let's put a round of applause for him to give his opening remarks. Let the applause continue. Oh, yes. Hands up. Hands up. It's not loud enough. Hands up. Better. Hands up. Should I say Berio? You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome everybody here today on behalf of our father, Senator Edwin Clark. He's a nationalist. And if you look around you here today, you will find a lot of us from different political foundations. That is Chief Edwin Clark for you. The fact that you don't share the same political ideology with him doesn't make you his enemy and doesn't make you a bad person. When we started, his intention was to put the whole South together, the West, the South-South, and the Southeast. And he performed very well in putting us together. Nobody has done as much as he has done to put the South together. I stand to say so and to challenge anybody who says he has done more than Edwin Clark. So if all of us have to do what we are doing today to honor him, I think he deserves that honor. So let's give Chief Edwin Clark another rise of applause. Now, at 96, he's still working. That is Chief Edwin Clark for you. And this is a man, if you go to his house any time of the day, you are welcome. And it's not only that you are welcome, you will find quite a lot of people there who are either seeking assistance, seeking knowledge, or seeking political association. He is a man Nigeria will not forget very quickly. We will always remember Chief Edwin Clark. The people before me, they have said so many things about Chief Edwin Clark. But I want to say something that most of you should not forget. The National Conference. Unknown to so many people, Chief Edwin Clark was the brain behind the National Conference. He put together all Nigerians so that we can be one. We can be one Nigerian. And we all sat down at that national conference and arrived at certain decisions. If those decisions have been adopted, Nigeria will not be where it is today. It is not easy to put Nigerians together to come and discuss their future. But Chief Edwin Clark did this, and it was a successful gathering. Even though the decisions at that time were not wholly accepted because they were not sent to the National Assembly before the president at that time left office. But you will find out that most of the decisions in the agreement we reached at the conference are being used today. If you go to the Senate, if they come to an agreement, just look at the decision of the conference, you will find out the source of that agreement is National Conference. I think we need another man like Edwin Clark. I hope he will come quickly. Chief Edwin Clark, as I said, is a nationalist. He will have launched this book in Abuja. He's not looking for money. He's not looking for fame. Say Edwin Clark today, every Nigerian knows who he is. He just gave me a phone call. Tony, there is going to be a book launch today. You are going to be the chairman. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't sleep anymore because I was so excited. Why me? Why me? So that is the man, Edwin Clark, for you. So if you have come here today to honor him, you are really doing a great service to a man who deserves honor. Thank you and welcome all of you to this gathering.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we please put our hands together once more for the chairman? They tell us that the best speeches are those that are made without a script. That is only when you know that people are speaking from their heart and not from their heads. So thank you very much, Chairman, for that heartfelt comment on E.K. Clark, whose resume I was trying to share with you earlier on. Thank you very much, Chairman. And I'm sure if people read that book, I think their perspective about Nigeria will change. You know, because it is a book written from the heart. And, you know, intimately, you begin to see how people like E.K. Clark thought and all the events that shaped Nigeria, as it were, up to where we are now. Thank you so much, sir. While he was giving his speech, some very distinguished people were coming in. In fact, when we were growing up, these are some of the names we never, ever tired of hearing on television or radio. And they all seem to be so much larger than life. One of them was Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, former Minister of External Affairs, sir. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, sir. We hope you still have that your vituperous way of approaching issues that always shook the nation when you spoke. Thank God you never regretted it. Thank God, sir. Nice to see you. We also have in our midst Chief Bode George. Chief Bode George. Where is he? I see him. Okay. Okay, Dr. Fawole representing Chief Bode George. Is that it? Please, Dr. Fawole, are you here with us? Doc, thank you, Doc. Thank you for coming. Chief Kofo. Okay. And it's our pleasure to also announce among us Chief Kofo Bokno Akerele, former Deputy Governor, Lagos State. And my pleasure to announce also somebody I spoke about only a week ago, who is now the chairman of Nigeria's most vibrant interventionist agency, the NDDC. It's my honor to introduce Honorable Chedu Ebie. Okay.
Thank you once again. The next item on the agenda is the speech by the special guest of honor. And the special guest of honor for today's event is Professor Wole Soyinka. However, he shall be represented by Chief Denzel Kentebe. Chief Denzel Kentebe is a member of the Ijaw Elders Forum. Can we please make welcome Chief Denzel Kentebe to deliver the speech by the special guest of honor for today's event.
Good morning. I'd like to stand on existing protocol, please. You can imagine my surprise this morning when I was told I had to read the message from Professor Soyinka. And I wasn't scared of the people in the hall here, but I was wondering where he is sitting down watching me, listening to my diction, my pronunciation, and everything that has to do with the English language. I'm trying to see if my hair has gone gray. I have no hair at all. But the prof is not able to be here with us, and it sends this message to Pa Clark. It is with great personal disappointment that I finally concede my inability to join you at this event. The Clark family and I, as you know, are linked on several levels, and it would have given me great pleasure to deputize for my late colleague and brother, J.P. Clark, in welcoming the patriarch himself on this belated entry into the literary ranks. Even without the ferocious promise of the title, I know that this will be one book launch the nation will not forget in a hurry. I cannot wait to read how it tackles some of the history of a society along whose fault lines we have occasionally interacted directly and indirectly, but of course, the nation has been treated to more than a rich foretaste in past years. A warm welcome nonetheless on your formal entry, dear Chief, Senator, and Elder, Gadfly to the literary arena. Thank you, Professor Wole Soyinka. I hope I did him justice.
Thank you very much, Denzel Kentebe. I'm sure that if Wole heard you say what you said now, he will probably have one or two words to say, short and succinct, but to the point. You know, a man of letters. Thank you so much. Kentebe himself, I'm sure that if he also was invited to an event, he would not hesitate to have somebody represent him, because he's a luminary in the South-South, particularly among the Jaws, having been one of those who have been spearheading all the activities of the ING Jaw National Council. And he, as you can see, put together this for our great leader, E.K. Clark. And this is someone who feels the pulse of the Niger Delta, the pulse of the South-South. And if you look at the pulse of the South-South, it's not actually different from each of the ethnic groups. What the Yoruba man feels, the Ijaw man feels. What the Ijaw man feels, the Shekiri man feels. And this is why E.K. Clark, as we say, is United Niger Delta, all put into one. So thank you very much. Now, the main cause of the reason we're here, the book launch itself, about the man whose thoughts we're going to share. Earlier on, I was trying to go through some of what somebody wrote about him, which I thought actually just epitomized everything I would like to say on him. And since it was interrupted, I would like to finish it so you can see the kind of person we're talking about. The man E.K. Clark, legendary agitator of the South-South cause and a legendary cult hero, as it were. The article said, a reincarnated Chief Beke Deremo of blessed memory, his native Delta state. Beke Deremo was his great-grandfather, a wealthy merchant who took up battles on behalf of the poor. He reduced prices of commodities and had several conflicts with Dore Numa. Beke Deremo had a steamship and, according to National Archives, built a palace as a big and comparable to the palace of the Oba of Benin. That edifice is still standing, as they say today. Clark's grandfather, Foludo Beke Deremo, was also a man of substance, a warrant chief, a politician of note who attended the Western Region Chiefs Conference in 1941 in Ibadan. Foludo Beke Deremo gave birth to Chief Clark Foludo, father of Edwin Clark. He became a wealthy merchant who traded in several coastal cities in the tradition of the family business and was involved in community service and politics as a counselor. He rose to be a customary court judge of appeal in Bomadi. Chief Clark Foludo understood early the importance of educating his own children, and he made sure that everyone got the sort of education that would make them relevant in the national field. And we can see today that the foresight of the father of E.K. Clark has shown in everything he's done, particularly when you read the book. Okay. Okay, so who's going to do it now? Who's going to do it? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one fact we forgot, that this event is being carried live on Arise Television, and you can tune in on arise.com and get the detail and follow everything that is happening. And that's just to also tell everyone present that you are on TV. So behave yourself. So you can see behind me what technology can do. Chief Clerk himself is going to address us via Zoom. And so please, can we put our hands together for elder statesman, a man of colors, Chief Dr. E.K. Clark, OFR, CON.
Which was attended by a crowd that could not be managed. Mr. President was there through his service government, who was the special guest of honor. The only officer, as the Royal Majesty, the Emir of Kano, the Sultan of Sokoto, and so many others, ex-Mufti, the Turkey, Yoruba Bombay, etc. King Jefferson, they were all there. It was people with the Abacha, the first lady, and his son, Mohammed. They were there. What else do I want? It was a glorious occasion. Signifies that, yes, I am among my people in Nigeria that I always said, where everybody is equal. Where we are possibilities. You can rise in any position you want in Nigeria. But if that is not there, then there is no Nigeria. We want the restructuring of this country. And this you will see in my book. I've spoken so much about restructuring. The former president of the country said one, that corruption will be killed. Otherwise, corruption will kill Nigeria. That's what President Buhari said. Then I said, we must restructure Nigeria. Without any restructuring, there will be no Nigeria. And I can think everybody in Nigeria believes today that restructuring is the order of the day. That is accepted by everybody. Even those who were hesitating now realize that we do better if they are in their own state. With more power, moving at their own pace, developing at their own pace, and paying the money to the federal government to maintain its own services. Today, for no reason, the president of Nigeria is the most powerful president in the country, but very effective because we have no constitution. The constitution is a military one, not based on Nigeria. But today is not the case. Read my book to see whatever thing I said to. The question has been asked, how did I come with the title Brutal Crime? I'm not a violent person. It is not meant to condemn people. But for 70 years, from the first republic to today, I have participated in every aspect of this government of Nigeria. And I feel that I should write the book. Everything I know about my family, let people know where I come from. This man, he has been talking the truth, speaking. What is his background? I think that's why I went to town to talk about my family. Where I come from, where I'm going. Now, when I was 90, one of the messages I received was from my boss, General Yakubu Gowon, when I was Minister of Information in the government. At 90, he sent me a conservative message. And part of it was, Steve Edwin Clark, each day I call him, is a very, very forthright Nigerian lawyer. And he speaks his mind on any subject. He is brutally frank. So I think that as the title of my book. I will not say it was my intention. No. I took it from the message of congratulation given to me by my boss. And I'm also reading. What people say about me, you see how that will go. But what again, I want to say, give glory to the Almighty God and to thank you for giving your various rules this morning to give me this honor. God will be with you. God will guide you. God will protect you. And whatever you desire, God will grant. Thank you and God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, our father, Baba Chief Clark. I was thrilled when I discovered that General Yakubu Gowon described him as the backbone of his administrative team years ago. So, once again, I recognize and honor our father, Chief Clark, a man from a rich heritage. You know, few men leave legacies, but this man is living legacies. He's a living legend. You agree with me? All right. At this point, we would like to take goodwill messages. And the first goodwill message for today's event shall be taken by Professor Anya O. Anya. Can we please make welcome Professor Anya O. Anya to give the first goodwill message for today's event? Can we please keep the applause rolling? Can we please keep the applause rolling? You have the floor, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, history is not made in one day. And that is why the phenomenon called E.K. Clark has built up the formidable reputation and network that is guiding our nation even today. We listened to him a moment ago at 96. Many 80-year-olds, some 60-year-olds cannot speak with such passion. I came across Edwin Clark at the national conference, and that was when I now discovered that you cannot describe him in one or two sentences because the man is multidimensional. But one thing you cannot take away from him is the fact that he loves this country. And he works with all Nigerians. Yes, he'll be frank and tell you his views, but he's the first to admit that you have a point. The National Conference has been mentioned. I am confident that one day that report will be fully implemented. And the reason is simple. People do not know that the takeoff point of the decisions, there were over 600 decisions, over 600. And every single one enjoyed the support of more than 70% of those attending. Would you really think it was possible to have Nigerians gathered as we were gathered, and all decisions enjoyed 70% support? You wouldn't have thought it was possible, but it happened. And that is why I believe that ultimately we'll find our way back. So let me also congratulate, I call him my father, Edwin Clark. He is a phenomenon that we must thank God for giving us. And particularly what he did with education. After the war, you wouldn't have thought the roles he played would allow him lead Bermudia's government to the University of Nigeria. Some of the first tables and chairs and so on that we had in the University of Nigeria to start to work again in that university. I was in the University of Nigeria for 37 years. So he is the one that gave us the confidence to start a second time. Finally, let me say this to the young generation. Do not lose confidence in Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. Nigeria is a destined country. It will get to the point where, as some of my spiritual advisors tell me, Nigeria will be celebrated for righteousness. Nigeria will be celebrated around the world for righteousness. This period that we are seeing now is not Nigeria. When I tell some of the younger people my experience in Nigeria, they don't believe that a Nigeria that I was describing, that I have lived, existed. But it did exist, and because it did exist, we will return. Thank you very much. And our father, Edwin Clark, is one of those who continue to reaffirm by his life, by his contributions, that truly a great Nigeria is possible and will happen. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. It's nice to hear from people who are contemporaries of our celebrant today. They know more about these issues and they can dare talk about them. We can't. Thank you so much, sir. Now, the next speech we have the message of goodwill. We'd like to call on the representative of the Oba of Lagos, Chief Ahmed Akashoro, to please give us His Royalties, His Royal Highness's response. We come to you where you are.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I bring to the whole audience and the elders seated here. I am Chief Ahmed Olaribi Akashoro, the Ashoko of Lagos, the head of Ababa class of our chiefs. I'm representing the Oba of Lagos Chief Edwin Clark is well known to me as a young boy. In those days when he and Chief A.B. Osula were living in Falulu Street. My daddy's house is the next house from Chief A.B. Osula, who was then the chairman of Daily Times. And they're having a very nice time at that time, dancing to Chicago music. As a young boy, we start picking at them. And today, it's an old man. My daddy died as a contender of Lagos State. And I'm happy to see him giving a good testimony of what he has done so far. On behalf of Oba of Lagos, he came back yesterday evening and he said, I should be here. And I know he's giving a very good, very long life and most prosperity. He has done a lot. I've read about him when we were a very young boy. In those days, we are reading about the drums, newspaper, that drums, at that time, very in the 60s. And they are doing fine. And they're still doing the same thing. What else can I say about him? He is going to live long and he's left behind a good legacy. For us, at our own age, at 68, in fact, I still cherish him because I'm only a very true person. That's never changed. On behalf of the Oba of Lagos, I think they'll speak together. My regards to him. Long life, sir. Cheers.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, a while ago we announced that the Arise TV is on DSTV. Arise TV News is on DSTV, channel 416. Also, it's on GoTV, channel 444. And Arise TV Live is on YouTube. We'd like to recognize Chief Dr. Mrs. Ubeku. That's the leader of the West African Women Association and her team. Can we please recognize, applaud Chief Mrs. Ubeku and her team. We welcome you, ma'am. We welcome you, madams. We also like to recognize the presence of Senator Musili Obanikoro. Senator, you're welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. At this time, we'd like to take the next goodwill message from Chief Philip Asiodu. Chief Philip Asiodu. Can we please get a microphone to him? Chief Philip Asiodu. Okay. We honor you, sir.
All right. I'm very delighted to be here today. I received a call from Chief Edwin Clark that the book will be launched today in Lagos, having been launched in Abuja, as we've heard. Now, I first met Chief Edwin Clark socially in Lagos. Later on, he became a member of General Gowan's federal administration. I was one of the permanent secretaries who used to attend council meetings. And I know Chief Clark was always outspoken, always frank. I didn't know General Gowan would describe him as brutally frank. Well, that's the title of the book. Good. And in cabinet, he performed very well. And I remember that earlier on, when there was the second coup in 1966, and Nigeria was tethering on the brink of disintegration. He was one of the delegates, or one of the people in the Midwest who helped to save the situation. Because people were talking about confederation, of breaking away, and so forth and so on. And I remember that the Midwest delegation, comprising Tony Nauro, people like Tayo Akpata were in the background, helping to make sure that the Midwest still stood for an effective federation. And he contributed a great deal to that. And we are grateful because God has blessed this country enormously with natural and human resources. It will be a great pity if we wasted it. And we still pray. When we were young, we read Renaissance Africa. And we still pray that Nigeria, using its enormous resources and a unique geographical position, will be able to play the role which he dreamt about in the vanguard of African Renaissance and the restoration of respect for the black race. Because there is no other combination of resources and population controlled by blacks, black people, which could be globally significant. And so Nigeria has a great duty, and it has been one of the persistent advocates for a Nigeria under a secular state with freedom of religion for individuals, playing its proper role and helping to make sure that the degradation which came with the slave trade is changed. When we are told the Greeks first encountered black people, they thought the black civilization was at least equal, if not superior to theirs. How we came to this colonization, and before then the Atlantic slave trade, is really a great tragedy and must be corrected. And we are looking forward to reading his book, and I'm sure that we remember him as one of those who contributed to making sure that Nigeria survived to play its role in Renaissance Africa. I'm glad that at 96, he still speaks vigorously. He's still acknowledged as the leader of the South-South, and I wish him many more years of, and that is true because on the table on which I sit in Metropolitan Club, the late Akintola Williams, who went at 104, was at lunch with us 2 weeks before then. So I wish him continued good health. And when I go next to Abuja, I shall call on him. Thank you very much for all of you coming here to honor him, to participate in this book launch. Good.
Thank you once again, sir. All right, right now we'd like to recognize the presence of Otumba Isaac Emiyede, the chairman of Cross River, Rivers State, Edo State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom, and Bayelsa State branches of the CREDAP Association. We honor you, sir. All right. We also like to recognize the presence of Chief Mrs. Bola Joko Doherty, the national president of the Dynamic Women International Association, and her team. Alaja Gbadamosi, Princess Kemi Ibironke, Mrs. Shola Akiosho, Mrs. Kike Dada, Chief Mrs. Khadija Olorunda, Princess Anna Ajetumobi, and Princess Dukwe Ajayi Gbadebo, all leaders of the Dynamic Women International Association. Can we please keep the applause rolling from these women? Thank you, Maz, for standing up to grace this occasion. We honor you. We appreciate your presence. All right, at this time, we'd like to take the next goodwill message, and that will be delivered by our mother, Chief Mrs. Kofo Bokno Akerele, the former Deputy Governor of Lagos State. Can we please take a microphone to our mother? We honor you, Ma. We're pleased to have you in our midst today.
I am greatly honored to be here today. I have known the Clarks for over 50 years. We have been friends. Chief Clark is an activist. You might wonder why I'm saying he's an activist at 95 years of age plus. But he was with us in the trenches when we were fighting for the restoration of democracy in Nadeco. He might not have been on television, but he was behind us. You have heard how he has brought all the southern states together. Not only has he done that, but he has brought us together in the hope that this country will be restructured. He has always spoken about the present constitution, that it is not our constitution, it is a military constitution. And therefore, he's always wanted restructuring. He, in fact, was one of the highlights of the 2014 Constitution, a conference of which I was a part. His house has always been open to everyone. He has brought not only the South together, he has also managed to bring the Middle Belt into the fold so that everybody is now clamoring for the same thing. Chief Clark, you have been a hero for many of us. You have actually led the way. And may God continue to give you good health. I know that your mental faculties will never fail you. And we thank you for trying to restructure this country so that we can all have a better Nigeria where we can all live a fruitful and honorable life. So we thank you very, very much, and God bless you again, Chief Clark.
Thank you, Ma. We honor you, Ma. I remember in those days when Mommy was the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, active woman, active, smart. When you see her on TV, you say, who is this Amazon? We honor you, Ma. All right, at this point, I'd like to take another goodwill message from Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. Can we please keep the applause rolling for Professor Bolaji? Can we please take a microphone to Professor Bolaji Akinyemi? We're honored to have you, sir.
Like Chief Philip Asiojo, about a month ago, I got a call from Abuja, and it was Chief Clark who played the chess game with me. He started off by saying, I invited you to the launching of my book in Abuja and you didn't come. I said, Papa, you couldn't have done that. If you had done that, I would have been there. He said, well, all right, don't let us argue. We are going to launch the book in Lagos. Now, what else could I have said at that point except to say, I will be there to honor you. I have known the clerks for a long time, but not the chief. I've been close to the professor, the late professor was his brother, and I have been close to Ambassador Clark, again his late brother. And so to that extent, I could lay claim to knowing the chief vicariously. But what finally sealed the relationship, as people have said, was the 2014 National Conference. And I still remember the chief on that front row. What struck me by the second week of that conference was that the chief was never late. Never. He was always there. One of the four, he was never late. And that allowed our chairman, Justice Kutige, to use him as an example to the younger ones who were coming halfway through the conference. I don't know how many times he led delegations to my office as the deputy chairman to iron out conflicts that were brewing. I agree with all Professor Anya said about his role at that conference, about how he didn't give up on principles, but he succeeded through tactics and through strategy in always smoothing out conflicts that were brewing between the South and the North. They were there. And so he takes the credit for the fact that that conference did not break up. One of the things that I will say here today, which I haven't said in any other place, was that we had to give a commitment to President Jonathan that there will be no walkout in that conference. It was not that the president was not committed to the conference, he was. But what bothered him was how it was all going to be arranged that the conference will be a success. And we gave him a commitment that the conference will be a success, that there will be no walkouts, and that there will be no conflicts that we wouldn't be able to resolve. Who are the we who gave him that commitment? That will be a story for another day. Already to my left I have seen my dad, and when I say my dad, I really mean my dad, because Pa Ayo Adebanjo and my biological father were members of the action group in the 50s. And he also was a member of the 2014 National Conference. And I also know the role that they played. You know, when you think of the important people in this country who managed to steer that conference to the point where, by consensus, we were able to adopt all our resolutions, Pa Ayo Adebanjo will take credit for one of the things that happened. So, you know, we mix our culture. So I don't know, because when I just say, oh, okay, Chief E.K. Clark, I should be calling him Papa E.K. Clark. And then somebody will say, but you're not an Ijaman, so why are you calling him Papa? But I will call him Papa E.K. Clark. I congratulate you. I wish you a long life to continue to mentor not just the young ones, but those like us who are still following your footsteps. Congratulations, sir, for today.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at one point, if you heard about Nigeria, it was through his thought and his words. Professor Bolaji Akiyemi has been with us for a long time, and from the way he's sounding, he's not given up yet. Please, can we give a round of applause to him? Well, as we were speaking, one of our very important guests strolled in, shall we say, one who carried the Yoruba fight in his own head, and he refused to let go, no matter what happened to him. And today, I don't know what verdict he would give to know whether his fight has been worth it or not. So we're going to meet with him later on. But now we have two young executives to give their own, as it were, advice and show their goodwill to us. And these are people who are deeply involved in the Niger Delta project and who have benefited in some way from being given positions to prove that. One of them is Dakuku Peterside, whom we now call to come and give us his goodwill address. The former chairman of NIMASA. Boy, you see they run well.
Good afternoon, Chairman of today's occasion, our own father, Senator Defuye. Fathers in the house, Your Excellencies. I've seen a lot of my uncles here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Well, I am sure that the only reason why I've been invited to speak is because I'm a young Ijaw son, a proud Ijaw son. And this book presentation is in honor of our father. We already know that Pa Chief E.K. Clark is an extraordinary scholar, encyclopedia of knowledge, patriot, politician, leader, father, mentor, and indeed the champion of restructuring based on equity, fairness, and justice. He's among the few that survived the tempest that is Nigeria. But that's not what makes Chief Ike Clark great. He is today a national icon, symbol of democracy, extraordinary leader, on the strength of his example and a cocktail of courage, wisdom, resilience, and patriotic spirit. Chief Ike Clark is not just a father to those of us who are just boys and girls. He's a father to all Nigerians who believe in justice, equity, and a great Nigeria of possibilities. He has been in the struggle forever and will remain in the struggle. He has brought intellectual flavor to the struggle for a better Nigeria. He's not just in the struggle with a militant spirit, but with a militant intellectual spirit. Ike Clark is living and will soon leave us after maybe the next 20, 30, 40 years. The challenge is that I can't see clearly a successor generation. For me, that's the challenge. He has bequeathed to us a lot of legacies. I don't know those who will carry on with his struggles for a better Nigeria. I look around, I've not seen many men of courage and wisdom, men of intellect, men who are selfless, men who are devoted to the national cause. He is called an Ijaw leader. True, but he's more of a Nigerian leader than an Ijaw leader. He has fought national causes, not necessarily South-South causes. It is just that South-South causes are interwoven with Nigerian causes. What he has fought all his life are Nigerian causes. As you have heard testimonies of his battles at the 2014 Constitutional Conference, unfortunately, the resolutions of that conference have not been implemented to date. But prophetically, we've heard that someday Nigeria will revisit those resolutions. For those of us, younger Ijaw boys and girls, he's a father, a mentor, a role model, and somebody we all look up to. And so today, as this book is presented in his honor, what can we wish him? He's not a man who is given to material things. For him, legacy is not about material acquisition. Unlike the kind of things we see these days, when young people are driven by greed to acquire everything, I don't know where they want to go with it. And so for me, and I speak for all young Ijaw men and women, all young South men and women, we wish our father long life, good health, and I know that we owe him a lot, but I make him a commitment. I make a commitment on behalf of the young people. We will not fail you, sir. We will carry on with your struggles until Nigeria is a better place for all. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Dakuku. Peter side, Bill, I say the fire has been rekindled. And by the time you are 96, we'd like to see or hear how you sound. Thank you very much indeed. Now, the next goodwill speaker. Oh, okay, while we're doing that, I thought I saw a yellow flame at the corner of the house and a hat, and they happen to be Professor Pat Utomi. Please, can we put our hands together for him? Nigeria Professor of Politics and Management expert, is everywhere actually. The president we never had. Thank you so much, Pratt, for coming. I'd also like to recognize Mrs. Adinke Giwa, representing Mr. Babatunde Rajifashola, yes? Mrs. Adinke Giwa, are you with us? Can we see you, please? Okay, the next person to give his goodwill message is none other than the current chairman of the NDDC, one of the most significant interventionist agencies in the Niger Delta, an attorney of many years, once with the Delta State government. Now, I think about the youngest chairman of NDDC. It's my pleasure to introduce Chief Chiedu Ebie. Please, can we put our hands together for him? You're not clapping enough. It's NDDC we're talking about. All right. Welcome. All right.
Well, first of all, Patrick, I'm not a chief, so but maybe someday I may become a chief. Mr. Chairman, sir, very distinguished and eminent Nigerians. I stand here this late morning in two capacities. First of all, as a bona fide son of Pa Clark. Pa Clark and my late father, Professor John Ebie, served in the administration of the late General Ogbemudia. And so growing up in Benin, I knew him from my very young days. He was also very good friends with my late uncle, Fortune Ebie. And when my father passed in 1989, he stayed in touch with my mother, and so he kept an eye on us. And over time, he stayed in touch with me and watched as I progressed in life. The second flank of it is now as chairman of NDDC. And of course, NDDC as it is to a large extent synonymous with Pa Clark. The board was inaugurated last Thursday by the Honorable Minister, and ideally, I should have proceeded to Port Harcourt to convene and preside over the inaugural board meeting. But on Friday, whilst in Abuja, I went to see Pa Clark, as I always do. And when I get there, he says to me, "My son, come and sit here." And you're sitting right next to him. And I'm amazed at 96. His memory is something else. He told me the story of how NDDC came into existence and the role they played and everything that transpired for it to come into existence. So I then said to him, "Sir, I understand that there's you're launching your autobiography on Tuesday," and he said yes. I said, "Well, I'm supposed to be going to Port Harcourt, but we will convene the inaugural board meeting after your book launch." That's the honor I could do to him. And so I leave here tomorrow to Port Harcourt where we would hold our inaugural board meeting on Thursday. I also assured him that we will do our utmost best as the new board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Firstly, to work harmoniously as a team, because NDDC has always been synonymous with problems and differences between the board and the management. But this time around, we have given him our assurance that we're going to work as a team. We're going to do our very best to reposition the commission and to see how we can change the narrative. I pray for many more years of sound mind and health for Pa Clark, because we need him. I need him for as long as I continue to chair the board, because I need to tap from his wealth of knowledge and experience. And I hope that that will guide us and help us as we work to reposition NDDC. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, sir. All right, at this time, we'd like to take the next goodwill message from our father. Elder statesman, patriot, nationalist, and Afenifere leader. And this is no other person than our father, Pa Ayo Adebanjo. Can we please keep the applause rolling for our father, Pa Ayo Adebanjo. We honor you, sir, and we revere you. Thank you for your presence today.
Well, Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, well, when I'm tired, I sit down. Okay. It's unfortunate, though, we lawyers, we are used to standing. However old, standing is our nature. My respect to everybody, particularly one of the special permanent secretaries that we ever had, Prissy Asioju. And of course, our indomitable Professor Akemi. I'm really happy to be here today because I missed the launching of this book at Abuja. The very day the book was being launched was the day I was admitted to the hospital for a surgery. I had already booked my accommodation in Abuja. We had paid for the hotel because I was to arrive the previous day. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it. It was a very painful occasion for me because Pa Clark, my co-chairman of Southern Leaders and Middle Belt Forum, is a personality to behold. A nationalist, a patriot, a loyal, committed man to a united Nigeria. When you go through the book, you will see how a better Nigeria was until you get to this stage. And I will plead with the audience. The knowledge of Pa Clark and my little self, please don't gamble with it. It's a compendium of what Nigeria was and what Nigeria we wish it to be. Pa Clark is not just a nationalist by the road. It's not a convinced nationalist, a converted nationalist. When you read the book, you know that nationalism and patriotism is inborn, right down from the school. And I really said, reading through the book, he said when was the Commissioner of Education, when was in the primary school, he was able to move from one school to the other because there are many. Then I remember the good work of my leader. That was after we had built several schools under pre-primary education of the Action Group in the 1955 downwards, before he became the commissioner. So he said he could choose, he could go from one primary school to the other because there are many to choose. That was the record in those days. And there were primary schools where there are seats, where there are teachers, where the people are not sitting on the floor. But Clark is a nationalist of no mean order. I came closer to him at the 2014 National Conference. We are on the same old row of old people. Himself, Akijide, thank you. Nadiwa Ajayi, myself, they gave us that honor to be in the front. And you see, the contribution, as Professor Akemi said, you could see knowledge and experience and patriotism in their contribution. And I may say, sir, those of you who are younger, who are likely to implement what Nigeria should be, don't play with 2014 National Conference. Whether you like it or not, Jonathan will go down in history as the best thing he did, in my own view, for setting up that conference. And I say publicly again, without any fear of contradiction, you can never get the composition of a conference as composed at that conference, again in Nigeria. It cuts across everybody. In intelligence, the judiciary, the youth, all sorts, no matter, the Muslim, Christian, ideologue, and all sorts of. And we were lucky to have a chairman who managed delicate issues, as said by the professor. You can never get anything better. And if you do, and until you go back to it, and thank you, Professor Kemi, I listened to your program yesterday. The job for us in this country today is to see that right now, this constitution must be changed to federalism in accordance to 2014 National Conference. And you made the proposition which I've already been saying. Don't waste our money again by setting up any other conference. Take that report, take a refined report, set up a committee to reconcile, and we go where we are going. Any other thing is pretense. Any other thing is pretense. And anybody sincere about the unity of this country, about the progress of this country, don't tell me about any economic program until you change this constitution, you will go nowhere. And I urge you, and I beseech you, anybody who is a nationalist who loves this country today, particularly now to President Bola Tinubu, I am happy Professor Akemi is here, you are his friend. I am not his enemy, he is my son. The only difference is that we disagree politically. He's a loving young man. I have never asked for a favor that he has not given me. But the issue is, the question of this Nigeria to be together is something many of us like Clark as an inborn to. Even when Clark was following Dr. Azikwe under the unity form of government, incidentally, it was a Zikis like myself, but he was not converted. I was converted before him by Shifaolo to Fidelism. But he came back to it and has been advocating it in a way that if you miss it, God save you, Nigeria. We are grateful to Clark. When I have the privilege of being the co-chairman with him under Southern Leaders and Middle Belt Forum, you could see an epitome of knowledge and experience, how we manage delicate issues. And it was a privilege. Unfortunately, when we started Southern Leader Forum, the Northern group was not there. It was he. When you read the book, you see where he has been coming from OBJ. He said, OBJ said should invite people from the Northern group. I said, Northern element, they don't want to rule, they want to dominate. And I will not agree to domination. We invited them, they came in. What happened? They exposed themselves in 2019 when they don't agree with us to what we just agreed to support Article for restructuring. They voted out. But I have told them earlier that the Northern Leader Forum, Professor Ango Abdullahi said earlier that once the North got into office in 2014, they will have it forever. I quoted it, he has not refuted it today. He said we should bring him in. I said Northern Leaders and Middle Belt Forum is meant for those who agreed in a united Nigeria under federalism. It will not be all right. But Clark said, no, let's bring that. I said, okay. If not, they will say this action group people are stubborn people. So they brought him in. But 2019, he exposed himself. We want everybody in Nigeria to be together, but we don't want any tribe to dominate the others. That is the difference. One of my best friends at this many Northerners, Skangiwa is what I know. And all those first-class people, this performance, MD Yusuf, those are good Northerners. Those Fulani, they are nationalists who believe in a united Nigeria under equal basis. That is the issue we must not shy of. Many of you live in denial. Let us persuade our northern element to agree that let us live together on equal basis. You can't attempt to dominate the rest of the country and you have peace. And until you agree to that, there will be no peace. And until you agree to what Clark is saying, to what Adebanjo is saying, to what those who believe in restructuring is saying, you will never get peace. I thank Clark for this book, for what he has said there, for the leadership he has given this country, the young people in particular, and Nigeria in general. When you read the foreword, you see the type of opinion that Gawan has of him. Of course, Gawan was a lucky man. He had a person like Clark in his cabinet, and I was there at that time. You can imagine that the success Gawan made, you can now know those who are behind it. So, congratulations to my co-chairman. Congratulations to the man Nigeria must worship, Nigeria must respect for the good of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I think that you would say was the sermon of the day. And I think we can expect another book launch soon. The thoughts of Ayo Adebanjo. The man who, I don't think is 96 yet too, very, very close. He still has the fire. So if they still come after you, don't be too shocked, even in your age. Your fire has not in any way diminished. Thank you very much, sir. And with this, the young people should be enlightened, I think. I know that there's so much at stake that everybody should be interested. Thank you very much, sir. And earlier on, we did say that a yellow flame flashed, and we introduced him, but he was not quite sedentary at the time. Now he's passing the courteous rounds. I would like to once again introduce Professor Pat Utomi, Nigerian politician, a management expert, and in fact, you can't call all his accolades. But he has 1 minute to talk to us. Prof, yes, they said so. I mean, I can prof be here and not say a word. Then why are you a prof? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Prof. Pat Utomi. 1 minute, sir.
Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thought I was sitting peacefully in one corner there, but now I have to say something. Really, truly, I subscribe to everything that Dr. Dakuku Peterside has said. And of course, my leader, Chifaya Adebanjo, knows also that we are together on these matters. I was actually just tweeting this morning, very early hours of this morning, and I said, what kind of society is it that can have elders who do not speak up? You know, Eleazar, the Jewish scribe, at 90, was forced. Just pretend that you are eating swine flesh and it will go, we'll let you. And he says, no. Part of the challenge of Nigeria is that the elders keep quiet. What are they afraid of? But we are fortunate in elders like Pa Ike Clark and Pa Ayo Adebanjo. I was telling Professor Ladipo Afolabi, who along with well, I should start mentioning all those I've been interviewing for my book. Talking to a group of retired federal permanent secretaries, just by accident, I ran into that meeting in Abuja a few weeks ago. I was elated when the chair of that event, Alhaji Yayale Ahmed, said Nigeria made progress when it was a federal structure. And if Nigeria is going to make progress, we probably do need federalism. People make it an emotional thing. It's not emotional at all. It is the reality of the competition spirit. As a person who teaches business, it is competition that drives creativity, that drives effectiveness. And that was what happened in Nigeria's federal system. Until we can return to a true competitive federalism, these Americans, Howard Wolpe and Robert Melson, called it competitive communalism. Ethnic nationality groups competing over who will most bring progress to their people. Together, that drove Nigeria's ascendancy. Such that, and people forget this, and we talk about industrialization and all of that, which is what triggered Yayale Ahmed's response when I made that comment. That in 1960, a factory opened in Kaduna that had sold out first 6 months production to merchants in Manchester. We talk about export-led industrialization, we talk to the Asians, but in Kaduna right there, we had a factory that opened, selling out 6 months production in advance to merchants in the UK. And that company broke even in its first month of production. Nigeria has not performed like that in recent times because we do not have a federal structure. We must return to it if we're to make progress. And we thank people like Bayo Adebanjo and Chief E.K. Clark for the work they have done in that regard. I thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you once again, sir. All right. At this time, we'd like to take another goodwill message from Chief Mrs. Nike Akonde, a two-time minister of the Ministry of Industry. At almost 80, she's still energetic and elegant. Can we please keep the applause rolling for Chief Mrs. Akonde? Can we please oblige her with the microphone? Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here this afternoon. When Papa, Chief Clark, phoned me and said, Nike, I'm launching the book in Lagos and I want you to be there. In fact, I already had an invitation for a program today, but I said, Papa, I will definitely be there. And I'm here today, Papa. I have known Papa for a few years, and I know members of his family as well. I knew his late brothers, the professor, the ambassador, and the younger sister was my classmate at Queen's School, now Queen's School, Ibadan. And Papa made an impression on me. I was honored to be a member of the National Conference of 1914. Our deputy chairman is here. Professor, you really gave us good program. Thank you. And Papa Adebanjo, who has known me since I was a young girl, he knows my uncle, he knows my husband, he knows every member of my family. Papa, I recognize you, sir. And there's so many people, even the chairman was a member of the National Conference, Senator Adefuye. And so many other people were members of the National Conference. Papa Clark is a great achiever. You've heard a lot about him today. He has touched many lives in many positive ways. He has impacted the lives of many people. His life has been that of service and honor. I'm happy to have been associated with Papa, and it is my pleasure to be here today. And I will tell my husband, who is also a lawyer and has a lot of respect for Papa, that I'm here, and I will buy some books for him. Papa, I wish you longer life, coupled with good health, and you will continue to mentor us in this country. Although I'm not a young lady as such, but at least I can still be mentored by Papa Clark. Thank you very much for your kind invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, two-time Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And thank you for sharing your experiences and saying that Pa Ayo knows you to the kitchen. Thank you so much indeed. Now, not to bore everybody, I think we've done enough talking. And, you know, all are here for the book launch. You want to know what the book is all about and so on. But please remember, they say that when you want to hide something from a Nigerian, you put it into a book, because Nigerians don't read. But I say today, what's in this book will be exposed for everyone to see, because the issues are like burning in everybody's heart. And that is what we have seen in the speeches of the elders and the young Niger Deltans who have